welcome back. Real shit. Let's talk podcast, man. Today's topic, we're gonna talk about romanticism for him and her. So, starting off, being romantic, it it has to come from the core, right? Like, you got to be like humble, and you got to be like inquisitive. When it comes down to it, you want to also look at like the things that they like, the things that they do, the way that they dress, the things that make them who they are, and why you care so much about them. We'll touch on like the man side, right? So with a man, like, we try to do the whole flowers and cards and different things, and those things are nice gestures and stuff like that, and everything. But when you look at how like the world or different things, people just do the basic flowers and different things. You gotta spice it up. To be romantic is to like plan like their birthday out for them, in the sense of, we're gonna do this, this is that, and third. This is what I have planned for you. Like a room full of balloons, a room with like rose petals and different things of that nature. Like you're washing them up and you're catered to them. When it comes to like a woman, pay attention to the little things that he likes to do. Um, plan plan it to where you guys can go and get like body massages and different things of that nature, where like you make it so romantic, like where you just, hey, I want to cater to you today. Um, let's go exercise because I know you like to exercise, and I'm gonna cook you your favorite meal. Um, Romanticism, when it comes down to it, is just all about the person. Like if you're real humble about it and you actually really care about that person, you're gonna make it happen. I think that one of the biggest things is we need to just like expand our horizons and make it happen. We don't have to think about it or really read books about it. It's in you. Like if you know her favorite flower, then just send like a dozen of those flowers to her jar. Let her know that ain't nobody more precious than you. Let things like just like happen. You want to also look at why you're doing it. Don't just do it for a good time, or don't just do it for clout. You really just want to like really get into like saucing up how to court somebody. When you really learn to like court somebody, and when you really want to court somebody, like you gonna do it. Like it's nothing gonna stop you from doing it. Like that's from the simplest things of holding hands and rubbing her stomach during her, time of the month. That's massaging his head and like giving him like attention mentally. Um, One of the biggest things about romance and romanticism is that the mental has to be there. Like your mental stability and focus on how to treat that person and how to make that person feel so important that there's nothing in this world that you wouldn't do or couldn't do for that person. I also believe that when it's all said and done, it comes natural. Maybe it's her favorite restaurant. Maybe she likes hibachi. Maybe she likes Chinese food, or she could like empanadas. Maybe you dress up like a chef and cater to her getting off work, and you chefing down in the kitchen, cooking her a good meal. You got her shower and or her bubble bath, and you're washing her up. And then flip it on the other side. Maybe you take them to like a football game or sports game or the, a famous place that he really wants to go within budget and within reason. I believe that in romanticism, you don't have to go broke. You don't have to be like, oh, well, I spent $300 on this and I spent 2,000 on that. It's not about the money value. It's really about the person. If you really care about the person, like it's gonna show. That person's gonna do things that they normally wouldn't do for the average Joe. But because they love you, because they care for you, and y'all mental is together, you gonna make it work. And it's gonna be such an incredible feeling that nobody can shake it, nobody can break it. You also remember that like in romanticism, like you want to build that bond. And you gotta remember that sometimes without a strong like foundation, like your relationship will fall in the depths of like quicksand. You also gotta remember that in romance, it's a daily thing. That might be putting things like little messages in their like luggage if they're traveling. If you know you're packing their lunch or something like that, you put little notes in there, let them know that hey, I'm still thinking about you, and I think that's a real good gem right there. You want to make sure that that person knows that you'll never give up on them. You want to let them know that I will forever and ever show you that I not only love you, but I'm gonna show you romantically, and I'm gonna keep that fire and desire alive. You want to make sure that every party knows that you really care. It gets hard, it gets tough, it gets in the situations where you don't know what to think or how to feel, but you got to keep the romance alive and sing that last song and all the way to that last dance. That's like 20, 30, 40 years in the game of being with that person. You also got to remember that you never ever really start or stop like dating that person. Once you have invested in that person, and not just talking about like materialistic things, but values, principles, morals, you start doing all those things, you in it. So I believe that like when it comes down to like romanticism, you really just gotta make sure you not only just do it like for just like the hell of it. You do it because you care. You do it because you really care and love that person. One of the biggest things that I think that you can be romantic by like buying like fancy clothes and everything like that. But you gotta remember that like no matter what happens, that person's gonna feel it, and you want that person to feel amazing. You want him to think and know that you are number one. That there's nobody, there's no competition, and you want her to know that you're gonna provide for her, protect her, and at the end of the day, like I said, I'm no guru, right? However, some of those same characteristics and fundamentals, I'm pretty efficient in. I give myself applause for that. At the same time, you just gotta remember that it takes a lot of patience and a lot of love. And when you're doing it the right way and you're following the fundamentals and the rudiments of how to court and be romantic at the same time, man, they gonna feel it. You gonna have you a rider, a slider, a do or die type of female or male, and it's gonna be fine. Sometimes I feel that, like, say, we overthink things, we get in our heads, and that stops us from like growing, right? We get so bogged in our thoughts and we get so caught up in what Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, what Facebook, all these social media stuff are telling you how to love just that one person. And that's not the case. It don't work like that. It never will. You got to remember that, like, those memes and all those extra things that you see and they're talking about it, that's just to get you drawn in to be like, oh, you should treat me like this. Oh, you should treat me like that. And why you ain't acting like such and such on the internet or on Facebook or this, that, and the third. When you actually look at that person and you say, hey, get that. I'm gonna show you without the social media. I'm gonna show you without a lot of the materialistic things of how I am romantic with you or how romantically I'm involved with you. You have to also realize that there's no greater competition than yourself. You also have to remember that, like, no matter what happens, you're going to show that you really care. You have to show that, like, hey, I'm willing to do X, Y, and Z to show you, to keep the fire alive within the relationship, to make sure that nobody, no one else questions or it leaves a question in your mind or in your heart. I believe that when a man really puts forth the effort, it shows. The same thing go for the female. She really puts forth the effort, then it really shows. Nobody has to tell you what he's like. Nobody has to tell you what she's like because you know off rip, I know how she is because that's mine. I know how he is. That's mine. I also think that, like, cooking for one another is romantic. I feel like little walks in the park, sitting at the lake, chilling, unwinding, and just talking. I believe that when it's all said and done, that we as a whole, we're learning, like, through Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, of how to be romantic in other ways than just doing the generic. I believe that if it's in you, you will make it happen. And if it's not, then you just not gonna make it happen. I also realized that, like, you have a lot of romance, you're gonna be dancing for a long, 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 long time, like 20 plus years. You also gotta know that, tap into telling that person what you like, telling that person how you feel. Also, at the same time, being able to be an effective communicator of your expectations. I also believe that romanticism is a key essential to making you peaceful, whole, and relaxation. I also believe that, like, no matter what, like, you know when you want to be like romantic, you know how to be romantic. Like, you don't have to take my word for it. But we all know that when it comes down to him or her, you know how to take care of one another because you've been there, you've done that, the ups, the downs, the all around. And once you like realize all that, and it's a cakewalk. I ain't saying it's gonna be always peaches and cream, but how you treat her for the umpteen many years you guys were together or married and vice versa, it's gonna show. You might, hey, babe, I'm gonna pick up your dry cleaning for you, or just pick up their dry cleaning without them knowing. You might just go over and clean up for them, and hey, I've been so stressed, but that's being romantic, caring, conservative, listening, and should we say active listening? I believe that deserves an applause. Now, nobody's perfect, and it doesn't happen like right the first time. So sometimes, you gotta fall down a little bit or stay down till you get up and realize what she likes, what he likes, what you all can bring to the table. Awesome. It'll be an awesome feeling. That's just what came to my mind. An awesome feeling. I also just want you to stay encouraged and be encouraged. Like, get ready for that crystal ball type of romance. Be prepared to for that greatness, that fulfillment of love that makes you feel just out of this world. It's indescribable. I like to just say that, like, no matter what you do, don't forget about yourself. Don't forget about them. And always, always, just be inquisitive. Ask questions. Relax and have patience with one another. And if you have patience with one another, that is the caveat. When it's all said and done, be able to push each other's limits in the romantic way that nobody can ever just scramble and touch the surface. I also believe that, like, when you're being like romantic, it's just like little gestures or little playing games, and you realize that was fun. That was great. You also just want to be able to let that like ride when it comes down to being romantic. Planning picnics and like pictures, or a trip to Starbucks and just unwinding. Never forget to be romantic in any way, shape, fashion, form. Maybe that's their favorite cologne. Maybe that's their favorite soap that they use. Maybe it's keeping that fire and desire to let them know, hey, I'm effed up about you. I'm crazy about you now. Come on, let's go get dressed. Let's go get a bite to eat. Or hey, you know, let's go to the strip club. I know you've been wanting to go. So we're gonna go. Let's go do it. At that same token, we just have to realize that romance never dies, right? And in closing and everything that we talked about, I I'm no guru at this, and I'm always learning to level up, and I'm always aiming up to improve on being romantic, romanticism for 2023. I add that to my list of amongst the other things that I want to do. And also, like, guys, when you hear this, you see this, you listen to it, hey, it's just me. And all I'm doing is sharing my thoughts through Real Shit Let's Talk podcast, man. The number one podcast out here, man. And hey, you can agree to disagree, but it's all love, baby. So Again, I appreciate everybody. I want to thank everybody and know that romance is still alive and it will never die. And also, Real Shit Podcast. Let's talk. Appreciate you guys. And I'm going to end it with my sounds here. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope to get y'all more. I got another segment coming up. Y'all check me out, and I appreciate y'all, man.